Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Mazzaferro. I'm the president and co-founder of RHEOTEK Medical. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm excited to share the needle-free technology that we've been working on and developing. We believe that this is going to be the future of needle-free technology and overall delivery medications, ways to deliver medications for aesthetics and dermatologic needs. So our company's vision is to become the market leader and standard of care for facial injections. With our technology, it aims to support and grow the facial and hair aesthetic market in order to recruit new patients that fear the associated pain and experience with needle delivery systems. We believe our technology is a disruptive technology by providing a painless injection, precise injections, and also easy and safe injections. Sorry for the 5 to 10, a little bit overlay there. So it's time to remove the needle. The needle is a century-old technology. It's been very well established that 20% of the population in the world fear needles, and yet a lot of people don't receive the injections that are required, from vaccines to various other reasons, all because of the needle injection systems. Oftentimes patients are receiving between 5 to 100 different injections per treatment, which obviously is associated with a lot of pain. Using needle delivery is imprecise. It is imprecise to be able to deliver reliably into the dermis, into the fat, into muscle. And also there's limited dispersion of using traditional needle technology. The three traditional delivery systems right now are traditional needles, microneedling, and topical. These all have their associated limitations. So our solution is a needle-free platform with an electromechanical power supply and a differentiated seal for facial injections. All this really means it's a high-powered, high-pressured jet stream. The stream is 1/3 the diameter of a 30-gauge needle. Super fine stream being delivered and penetrating the dermal-epidermal junction and being able to reliably deliver into the dermis, into the fat, or into the muscle, depending on the velocity and the force that's being delivered at that certain time. So you have the needle-free injector, the power supply. You have the disposable single tips. These disposable single tips are being tossed out between patients, so there's no cross-contamination or concern for cross-contamination. It's a portable handheld device. And I think most importantly, this was all designed for aesthetics and for facial injections. So we wanted to reliably focus on being able to vary the volume, the depth of delivery, and making sure that the depth is also a precise depth into the defined layer that you want to deliver it, and also improve the dispersion overall. Show a little animation for you to understand this exact needle-free injection system. So you can adjust both the volume and the depth of injection. Right now it's set to 2, being a subcutaneous fat delivery with a volume of 0.2 cc's. You can see the dispersion. Then you can toggle up the depth to 3 to muscle, or you can toggle it down to 1 to dermis. And you can decrease the volume to 0.05 cc's. Most of the aesthetic injections are 0.05 to 0.1 to 0.2 cc's. When we compare this relative to needle, we've also shown in our preclinical data improved dispersion with a needle-free device compared to a needle device. So overall, the overall benefits of the needle-free delivery systems is designed for reducing pain, for variable depth of injections, variable volume of injections, and facial injections overall. When you look at the aesthetic injection landscape overall, this is something we're all very familiar with. You look at the global dermal fillers and botulism market in 2020, it was valued at $10.5 billion. In 2027, it's projected to be $26.7 billion. When you look at the number of injections in the U.S. in 2021, neurotoxin was 3.6 million, and fillers worth 1.3 million. So we wanted to conduct our own market analysis and look at the expert injectors out there, being plastics, facial plastics, dermatologists, oculoplastics, and nurse injectors, and ask them, what is the greatest limitation of needle injections? Well, largely it was pain, and second to that was imprecision of the depth of delivery. We asked also roughly for each patient, how many needle sticks or how many injections with a needle are you providing for each patient? And they said 15 to 20, with the maximum amount being over 100. And then we asked them, so what would you be interested of all the liquids that we're currently injecting in the aesthetic space, what would you be interested in injecting with our needle-free injection? You can see a wide variety of liquids that would be of interest, from neurotoxins to fillers to PRP to exosomes to nanofat to Sculptra to 5-FU. Lesser extent of finasteride, minoxidil, and tranexamic acid. So yes, there's value add of this device to the customer or the patient experience, and also to the injector being able to reliably deliver it into a predetermined depth, whether it be dermis, fat, or muscle. But we also wanted to show that we're adding value to the injectable companies. We want to be able to improve the experience and provide no to minimal pain to the patients, and this can increase the throughput. So the average patient receives 1.6 times of injections of neurotoxins per year. If we can increase this by 50%, then obviously there's increased utilization of the neurotoxin market. Same thing with the needle phobic patient. So 10 to 20% of the needle phobic, there's 10 to 20% within the population that are fear needles. So if we're able to recruit additional 10%, obviously a massive amount of increase of utilization of the product as well. So our clinical validation, we conducted cadaveric pork shoulder initially, showing variable depth of delivery. You can see dermal delivery on the left and the intramuscular delivery on the right. Obviously, this is pork cadaver, so you can see the massive amount of the increased depth of the dermis and the fat and the muscle. So of course, we translated this over to human cadaveric studies, and we showed we could reliably deliver the medication into the fat, into the dermis as well. We also compared needle versus needle-free. In the red circle, you'll see needle-free. In the yellow circle, you'll see needle. You can see improved dispersion with this. And then we carried this over to CT injection. So we injected radiocontrast dye and showed with CT imaging that we confirmed 50% increased dispersion with needle-free over needle. So this is a Class 2 device. We're planning a traditional 510K, patent pending, also filed internationally. We're raising our seed round of $3 million right now to produce the device to be ready for FDA submission, along with the required elements for the submission packet for FDA. And our round is closing in June of this year, and project to be FDA clear by end of 2024, and we have $1.5 million committed thus far. So I see a lot of other market opportunities with this platform technology. Well, obviously with hair rejuvenation, which is a larger market than even facial rejuvenation, including skin cancer, intratumoral therapy. We actually have the world-leading expert as an advisor on our board now, who is leading multiple clinical trials for intratumoral immunotherapy and oncolytic viruses, which we're also very excited about in discussion with strategics on. And then, of course, local anesthetics, scar therapy, and hyperhidrosis. Myself and Dr. Scott Bartlett are the co-founders of the company. We have a seasoned veteran scientific and business advisory board that has been advising and leading us over the last couple of years. We're excited to discuss with anyone of interest further. These are the RHEOTEK development partners. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Irina, you want to start?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a great technology, and you've made an enormous contribution here. I think that the notion of providing safe injections, and in particular needle-free injections in the toxin market, is extremely appealing. Having said that, you've also shown that the dispersion is very broad with the product. Mm-hmm. That, in some respects, goes contrary to what most injectors want to see, which is precision and where they place the product specifically, and dispersion may mean side effects with the toxins in particular.
Yeah, no, great point. So I would argue you kind of have different indications of use, neurotoxins and fillers. Fillers, you want more of an even dispersion. Neurotoxins, obviously you're injecting a corrugator, you're pretty concerned about any dispersion that could create lidosis. So we're actually working on different needle-free tips and geometry, because if you think of like a water hose, if you're using a water hose, the water comes out as a thin stream, which will not have a lot of dispersion. If you think of a dam with a massive amount of water that's getting confined into a single area, it has a massive amount of dispersion. So if you can change the profile of the overall needle-free injection ampules, then you can also toggle and change the dispersion profile, which is what we're planning on, which we're working on now.
So just as a quick follow-on to that, what is the sensitivity of your platform to viscosity of the liquids that you are actually injecting? Because I would imagine, based on that mechanism of action,
yeah, great
you
point.
would have different functions.
Yeah, great point. So obviously neurotoxins versus fillers of lower high G prime all have variability. So, and we have shown that we have to increase the force that's being delivered in order to inject a high G prime filler at the same location as neurotoxin. So this is going to be kind of an algorithmic-based approach, which is what we've already worked on to determine if you want to inject something into the dermis or into the muscle, you have to deliver this much force at that appropriate time.
And I will tell you, out of all of those indications in aesthetics, I think your injection of lidocaine is one of the most important of the batch because it is one of the broadest used indications, and where delivery needle-free could really improve patient comfort.
Thank you. And just to comment on that as well. So, I mean, all the radio frequencies treatments that are being out there right now, microneedling, a lot of this causes pain, and patients are oftentimes waiting an hour, or 30 minutes to an hour for EMLA cream to set in. So we could possibly use this to be able to pre-treat prior to the treatment, and it can also help facilitate patients' throughput through the door.
Thank you.
Yeah, marketing question. Are your competitors needle injections or the other tools that are needle-free injections? There are many.
I think both are competitors. I mean, it's BDs of the world with needles or other needle-free companies. I mean, there's no needle-free company that is FDA approved and being used in aesthetics in the U.S. right now. So
They're being used. They're not approved. And how do you compare?
well, if you're talking about the hyaluron pens of the world, that is they're using.
Untitled, I'm not going to name the brands, but there are 3 brands that I advanced. How do you compare to them?
So, I mean, we're obviously very excited about our power supply where we can easily toggle on and off. Just for everyone's knowledge, there's 3 types of power supplies in needle-free world. There's a pneumatic system, which is a compressed air where you have to lug a compressed air cylinder with you from room to room. And then there's a spring-loaded system where you're limited to a single force of the spring, so you can only deliver at a single injection for each time. You have to completely change the spring in the device system in order to get it to a different depth. So that's why we're very excited about using an electromechanical system where you can change the current of delivery, therefore the force and the velocity of the liquid that's being delivered, so it can be in a much more reliable depth of delivery.
Iontophoresis can't do that?
Sure, but I think it's also a very long process to be able to have the liquid be absorbed that way. It could be a half a second from one injection to the next. It's much quicker. In an aesthetic market, a throughput of patients through the door, I think, is critical.
I'm going to move it over to a business question because you're raising money and we are sharks. So when you think about your business model, you have both a disposable and a reusable component. And when you think about launching this product, it's just a couple years away. How do you think about the cost of that? And who's going to carry the burden of the cost? Do you expect the physicians to charge patients more for these procedures, or how have you modeled out your 5-year business plan?
Yeah, great point. So the overall summary of the financial plan here is a printer cartridge model, or the razor blade model. So you're paying either at cost or a little bit premium of what the injector costs, but then the printer cartridge is the ampules, right? So you're able to have a recurrent revenue stream. Yes, we will be selling these ampules can be made for extremely cheap, and you can sell them at a decided number for the physicians, and obviously mark it up relative to patients. And that's something that we've already been looking at, is what would patients be willing to pay at a premium in order to get a needle-free, decreased pain, reliable injection with needle-free compared to needle.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.